Okay.
We came to UK, we came to London. I was just running over to doctors for help. They always think it's okay, they are just taking their own time. But somewhere, somebody has told me they may be autistic. That thought was not going out of my mind. And I was becoming more and more anxious about it.
Mm-hmm.
My this anxiety was going to my kids, and I was not realizing it at all. I have gone to doctors, I was on medications, but sudden it was a self awareness, it was a realization from within that medicines are not going to help you.
Mm-hmm.
There should be some other way. And that way was writing, that way was photography, that way was living with my hobbies.
So
So it was,
this is wonderful what you've
yes,
said, that self-awareness is a very important thing. Self-realization is a very important thing. And because of that, you were able to change direction.
yes. And because when I realized it, when I worked on it, um, it actually, what happened when they were not speaking, I was anxious. I was giving my negative energy to them. I was forcing them to speak. But all they were doing, they were just taking their own time. They were twins, they were having their own gibberish language, and they were at their comfortable zone. So, this is my message for young moms: don't be anxious. Don't force your ambitions on your young ones. Don't force your dreams on your young ones. Let them come out. That time, I came up with my very first poem. It was Wo Lal Rang Ka Gamla.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that poem with me. I would love to share that poem with you.
Please
Uh,
do.
but it is like Wo Lal Rang Ka Gamla. I don't have that poem. It is a long talk poem, and that is my first published poem as well. And a lot of people has, a lot of young moms, they actually said that's very true. Whatever you message you want to give us, the whole message was let them, like I was giving them all everything what they want, but I was over expecting from them. So when I calmed down, when I was giving them, I was playing my part, but I was not expecting now anything. Now they came up with something different that I have never expected. So it was beyond my expectations what they gave me.
We're waiting to
So
hear.
I don't have that poem with me. I'm so sorry
No,
about
that's
it.
okay.
I don't have
That's
that
okay.
poem with me. Let me see if I find out can find that poem with me. But that is my very first poem. Um, but I don't have that poem with me. I'm so sorry about it.
You can
But
share any
yes,
other one. You can share anything else with us.
sure. Yes, I have one poem that I have written for my kids, and it was a message I wanted to give them that when you are here, why you are here. So that is the poem. To begin with, it is हार कर हर बाजी पिता हर बार मुस्कुराया हार कर हर बाजी पिता हर बार मुस्कुराया कैरम लूडो की जीत में मैं अब कुछ कैरम लूडो की जीत को मैं कुछ अब समझ पाया. So this is the experience as a mom, as a dad. We always wanted to give and we always wanted to get from our kids. Like whenever they play with us, we want them to win. We want them to be winner. And we feel so happy when we lose that game. But the message here is the next poem, the poem I'm going to share here is गुलाब के नन्हे फूल हो तुम गुलाब के नन्हे फूल हो तुम मेरे मन के प्यारे उपवन के गुलाब के नन्हे फूल हो तुम मेरे मन के प्यारे उपवन के चलो तुम्हें बतलाऊं मैं कुछ राज ये गहरे जीवन के भेजा किसने है तुम्हें यहाँ, ये जान के क्या हासिल होगा। भेजा किसने है तुम्हें यहाँ, ये जान क्या हासिल होगा। किसे महकाने तुम आए हो, ये जानो तो जीवन सफल होगा। आओ बस महसूस करो, इसे देखो और इसे समझो, जो तुम्हारे लिए हो बेहतर वो राह तुम जीवन की चुनो। कुछ नया करो, नया सीखो, हर तजुर्बा जहाँ नया होगा, बस पैर धरा पे जमाए रखना, फिर आसमां खुला होगा। देना सबको वही मौका दे जो तुम्हारे लिए चाहो। कोई मिले जिसे जरूरत हो, बस हाथ पकड़ वो तुम लेना। तो मैंने तुम्हें गुलाब कहा, तो उसमें भी एक राज है। गुलाब महकता रहता है, यह मौसम है या परवाज है। गुलाब खिलता ही रहता है, उसे कांटों का भी एहसास है। रहना सदा गुलाब से तुम, रहना गुलाब से मासूम तुम, रहना सदा आबाद तुम आरफ रहना, तुम अनय रहना, रहना आशीष के साथ तुम। इन सब से ऊपर तुम रखना अपनी प्रतिभा पे विश्वास तुम। इन सब से ऊपर रखना अपनी प्रतिभा पे विश्वास तुम। So this was my poem,
Wonderful.
a message I wanted to give to. Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. Pratibha, we can hear you.
Okay. So this was a poem. Okay. Um, so this was my poem. I wanted to give a message to not to just to my young ones, but to all the kids, like why they are here. So don't worry about, just enjoy this life and keep going and flourishing and spreading your happiness everywhere.
That's lovely. So you've actually gone through a
It
wonderful
looks
journey
like
here.
my.
We can hear you. Can you hear us, Pratibha? Can you hear us? Can you hear me, Pratibha?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
So I can see that you've gone through a wonderful journey, which could have gone the other way. But instead, what you did was you recognized that there was a change in circumstances. You accepted that change. You brought a self awareness to yourself, a self realization that you need to do something to change where you are. And you showed flexibility within yourself by looking inwards to seeing what are the skills you have and having some support, some little nudging from life's experiences, like your children, your father. And poetry came to you in this way, where you've related your experience of being a mom, of what it is to have children. And not only have you written about it, but you've also shared this in the hope of educating other people and also making young moms aware of the process of how things can change and how they can be a little bit more relaxed about being new moms. So this is a very wonderful story for a lot of people. It's a
It was a
great
little
message.
try.
It's a great message here. What I would like to also know is that ha- has there been a point, any time where you've continued? How old are your children, first of all, now?
They're 7 years now.
7 years now. Okay. Through this process of 7 years, have you changed the direction of your poetry? Have you looked to be writing about other things as well?
Yes. Actually, for me, poetry, it's like it is an instant thing. It comes something from within. So if you ask me, my husband a lot of time asked me to write something about him. I was not able to write anything about him. So it is something, it comes from within. So I feel very bad about him. He always asks me to write something, but it doesn't come as of now.
So you need to tell us a
Um,
little bit more. What's the process that's going on when you're writing from within? What is happening exactly? What is it that urges you to write or that gets you to write?
okay, so I would say there is one more poem I would love to share it with you. This is on mother, and it's not only me. I think most of us, at whatever stage you are in your life, young ones or grown ups or being a mom, we always miss our moms. We always want to go them and give them a hug. During this time of COVID, it's been like 2 years for me to go back to India, and I
Mm-hmm.
have promised my mom that I am going to visit her every year. So I was missing her a lot. So there was one more poem that came in my mind during this COVID days, and I wanted to write something about it. And it was like it doesn't came in my mind. It was I always talk to my mom on daily basis. It is the therapy again for me. And that day I was really busy and I was not able to call her. So I went to sleep and I saw it was a, I would say, um, she came in my dreams and it was a talk. So when I wake up and I thought, let me pen down these thoughts. So it was not just a dream, it was a living thing with me, living thing happening with me. It was a live moment that was happening with me. So I would love to share that thing. That was an instant thing. I would say it's something that came within. I was never prepared for this thing that I am going to write this poem. Because whenever I wanted to write, I always thought that I am going to write about my mom or about my dad first. But it never happened. Whenever I tried to write, I was lacking, there was no words for me. I was having no words that I can put down pen on paper. And when it happens like anything. Came one day, she just came in my dream. I got up in middle of the night and I thought I am going to write it down now. So that is the poem. I have already shared it, but I would love to share if you permit me.
Yes,
So if you
certainly.
give me any permission to
Of
share.
course, this is your show. Yes, of course.
So this is the poem. Um, I've started like this. माँ माँ ने जिसे हम हर उम्र के हर दौर में हम मिस करते हैं, याद करते हैं। मैं मेरी माँ की बात कर रही हूँ यहाँ पे। 20वीं सदी के चलते चलते हमें बड़ा करते करते सभी जिम्मेदारियों को पूरा करते करते उनका जिस्म कुछ थकने सा लगा और 21वीं सदी में आते आते वो थोड़ा आराम करना चाहती थी, लेकिन जिम्मेदारियां कुछ ऐसी थी कि आराम भी नहीं कर पा रही थी। लेकिन हमारी तरफ देखी तो अलग सी उमंग के साथ आगे बढ़ती। आजकल वो कुछ कुछ आमा नहीं है और कुछ कुछ नहीं है। तो इसी आराम के पलों में वो कभी कभी नहीं, वो हमेशा मेरे से बात कर लेती हैं। एक दिन ऐसा था कि नहीं, तो वो मेरे सपने में आ गई। तो वो मुलाकात है, उसको मैंने कुछ शब्दों में पिरोने की कोशिश की है, जो मैं बहुत सालों से कर रही थी, नहीं हो पाई। सो दिस इज आई एम गोइंग टू शेयर नाउ।
Okay.
घबराहट के पलों में मिली राहत भरी रजाई थी।
We've lost we've lost some sound. We've lost some sound here.
I think has she dropped from internet?
I'm not.
Yeah, I think we've lost her.
Yes. So whilst we're waiting for her to reconnect, I'm just going to share with all of you that generally what we are hearing from Pratibha, well, I'll come back to what we're hearing from her, but I just want to share with you that I don't know if many of you are
I'm
aware
so
that
there was a poor connection.
are you
Lost.
back, Pratibha? Yes, you're back. Okay. I
Yes,
was
I'm
just
so
going,
sorry about it. I
that's all right.
lost.
That's all right. We'll come back to you. I just wanted to share with everybody, if I can, that I don't know if many of you are aware that the Nobel laureate Rabindranath Tagore, a prolific writer, he's a poet, he dealt with depression quite a lot and the feelings of loneliness. And he wrote a lot of his poetry as a way to help him through this process. He was actually very sad, a very sad soul in spite of all the achievements he had made, because he really didn't feel that people appreciated him that much during that period. And a big thing about his life was the chapter of loneliness. So one of the famous songs that he's written is, which most of you I'm sure will be aware, is Ekla Chalo Re. And just a first translation of the line is, if they, let me just get my glasses on. If they answer not to thy call, walk alone. So this journey of wellness, of keeping our good mental health, ultimately is a journey that we do walk alone. It is nice when we get the support of other people, but like Pratibha is saying, she wanted someone else to do the work for her, but realized that she had to come back and do it all herself to get her on this track. So, what you've talked about, Pratibha, is that you have written about things which are extremely intimate about your mom, about your kids. However, you find it difficult to write about your husband and your dad, and that might be another story in itself, which someday you might be able to put to words. You know, you've also
Yeah.
shown that
Mhm.
there is a great deal of empathy when you are writing about your children, when you're writing about your mom. In yoga, this aspect of empathy we call pratipaksha bhavana. So when we put words down in poetry form, we're actually trying to express our experiences. We're trying to express what someone else may be going through by putting ourselves in their shoes. And this is what is pratipaksha bhavana. It's a wonderful term. Also, we learn to process our feelings. You were missing your mom, you felt that connection, and this poetry came to you, which is a wonderful way to let go things which can build up and can cause us not to perform to our best. So it is also a way to understand that you have this connection, you have this need, you want to keep that communication going, and how do you keep it going, especially when days it doesn't happen. So this today we're talking about how poetry is helping us, and Pratibha has shown how she has used this poetry to help her along the path. What I want to ask you now, Pratibha, is have you ever come across a situation where you've not agreed with something, but yet you've written about it? Have you ever done that?
Yes. There are other. Let me see. What is that? There should be something. Um,
It doesn't matter if you don't have a poem. I just want to know the process that went into that and how it made you feel.
Recently, that happened, which is happening in India these days, like the rape. It exists there, and another way, what was happening, a lot of protection was given to celebrities,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of attention given to celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
There, I was not agreeing to the point. You are giving a lot of security to Kangana Ranawat, and when it comes to a normal girl, there was no protection at all. And it was like something else was happening. They were trying to hide the things. I don't want to go into details because this is
I
whatever
think
is
I
portraying.
think what I'm trying to understand is that how did something like this upset you, and how did it then express itself, and what did that lead to? How did you resolve that conflict within yourself?
Yeah, just give me a second. How that I resolved within me.
Yes, because what we are trying to focus is how do we use poetry to keep our sense of stability, to keep our mental wellness. The process, I mean, I've talked about how it can be cathartic because you let your unresolved emotions be expressed, you know. So here we're talking about how we disagree about something and you're expressing that. So how does it then bring you back to a piece of calm?
See, first of all, I would say awareness, not
Yes.
towards myself only, but bringing awareness towards another part of to others as well. Because so I have written something about that girl. Like, there are a lot of people they came to help, who are very special, to whom we say they are celebrities, and there are very less people were there, uh, those who actually need that kind of help. So I thought like I should pen down my those thoughts, and I should spread on social media, because social media is a great tool so to bring awareness. So I have shared my this poem on Facebook, my Insta page. So where I also got a lot of views that okay, this could be the another perspective that we were not thinking of. I don't have that poem again with me,
No, no, that's
so
okay. So I think the
mhm,
point you're making is when you feel in disagreement about something, you have various mediums to express it. Now, social media is something we need to be very careful of because it can be a double-edged sword here. So whilst you express, you also need to be ready for feedback that you get on it. And you want to make sure that feedback doesn't upset you to a point that, again, you feel you need to be in another place to lift you up again. So you need to be
sure,
quite strong minded. You need to have this protective shield around you to make
yes.
sure that you don't get affected so much by it. Yes?
Mhm.
Okay. So what I want to know, today with your children 7 years on, have you continued to use motivational poetry to help you through your own well-being and your own healing even today? And do you think that because you started when they were very young, that it's made you stronger and more forceful in putting your words to paper?
Yes, I have one lovely poem, and I love this poem every day. Read this poem every day. This is, you can say, this is my affirmations. This is my realization, and I have, I, yeah. So I would love to share
Yes,
this
please, please. This
poem.
can be your message to everyone.
Yes, and I would love if you guys just close your eyes and just listen it and just feel it. This is for you. This is for you too, because this is, I feel so charged up after listening this poem.
We look
So
forward to it. Yes.
let's begin. Okay. As I begin to trust myself, I realized that any pain or any tribulation are the only warning signs that I was living against my own wishes. Today, I know this is fidelity. As I began to trust myself, I stepped craving for, I stopped craving for anything which is not mine. And I began to enjoy that everything that surrounded me was asking me to grow a little more. Today, I call it maturity. Whilst I was trying to trust myself, I understand that my presence or my absence in any moment was telling me it was the exact moment. So I should be calm at any point, at any time. I love to call it my morale. In the path of this introspection, as I began to trust myself, I spread my wings and freed myself from anything that is not good for my health, everything that sink me down and drift me away from myself. At first, I thought it is an attitude. Today, I know it is love to oneself. As in the journey of self-love, as I began to trust myself, I refused to go in the past and craving for future. Now I live for the moment where I am breathing. Today I live each day and day by day. I am loving it. I call it an achievement. Then I began to trust myself. I admire that my mind can also disturb me and it can also make me sick. Then I equate to my heart. It became the holy place. Today I admire it, my place of worship. I am fearless, I am brave, I am away from any fates. So this was the poem. This is the poem I love to read every day.
I think it's a beautiful poem. It says a lot and it gives a great message to everybody. And I think it's wonderful the way you've written it. So thank you so much for sharing that. I'm going to open the floor in case anybody has any questions to ask you or if they want to say anything. We've got the last 10 minutes left. So if anybody wants to ask Pratibha anything or contribute to how motivational poetry has helped them perhaps in their journey, please do ask. Now is the time. You can unmute yourself and ask the question.
Thanks a lot, Pratibha. I enjoyed your poetry. Well done.
Thank you, Darshana. Thank you.
Beautiful poem. I think you should put it on the IIW website for everyone to read it as well.
I would love to.
It's a
Yes, I
great
would do that.
poem. Yes. So,
Pratibha, I wanted you to finish your poem on Ma. You were saying, but you dropped out.
yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. So this is, thank you. Yes. So this is a poem on mother, and let me begin it again. घबराहट के पलों में मिली राहत भरी रजाई थी, अभी भी महसूस कर रही हूँ कि कल माँ सपने में आई थी। उसने अपने हाथों में पकड़ी एक जानी पहचानी सी सिलाई थी, हाँ वही जो थी जो जिसने मुझे जादू की झप्पी दिलाई थी। वो माँ थी जो कल सपने में आई थी। हिम्मतों के धागे जो सर्द हवाओं के चलते यहाँ वहाँ से उधड़ने से लगे थे, कई पल राहतों भरे बुनते बुनाते बिखरने से लगे थे। अपने अंदाजे की सच्चाई से वो उन्हें नए रंगों में बुना गई, मेरे गिरते फिसलते लम्हों को अपनी नई सोच से ओढ़ा गई। कल माँ सपने में आई थी। कुछ सपने जो मेरे से थे अब शायद उनकी यादों घेरे ही थे, उन घेरों को मेरों को वो न जाने कैसे धूप दिखा गई। मेरी ढलती हुई सी हस्ती को कुंवारी किरण फिर से बना गई। कल माँ सपने में आई थी। यूं ही भटकती चाहतों को वो नई सॉरी मैं आई ड्रॉप्ड अ लाइन, आई एम जस्ट गोइंग टू रिपीट इट। यूं ही भटकती चाहतों को नई दिशा सी वो दिखला गई। इतनी सारी दुआएं आ गई। हाँ, वो माँ ही थी जो कल सपने में आई थी। दुआएं ही नहीं, नसीहतें भी मिली। दुआएं ही नहीं, नसीहतें भी मिली। हर नसीहत में ताजगी थी। किसी फूल सी थी वो खिली खिली। तुम अब चंद शब्दों की कविता नहीं, गजल बन चुकी हो। बेटी की गरिमा के संग संग उमंग भरा हम सफर बन चुकी हो। कुछ रंगों की स्याही से परे एक इंद्रधनुष में ढल चुकी हो। ये सब याद दिलाते दिलाते वो मेरी कई नजरें उतार गई। कल माँ सपने में आई थी। इतना सब बताते हुए नन्ही कह के मुझे पुकार रही थी। तू ना समझ है ये कह के मेरे बालों को संवार रही थी। हर हाल में, हर दौर में तू मेरी पूरी होती हुई नज्म है। मेरे अस्तित्व की गहराई को एक पंक्ति में समझा गई। कल माँ सपने में आई थी। तो ये थी ये थी
Beautiful
मेरी
poetry
पोइट्री।
you shared with us. And
वाह वाह, बहुत बढ़िया, बहुत बढ़िया. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much. I have already shared my this poem on this platform only, and this is the second time I'm sharing here.
the more we
So
hear it, the more you feel that bonding. So
yes,
it's wonderful to keep sharing. That's a great gift.
thank you.
And when we share our poetry, when we share our feelings, when we share our thoughts, we also make it easier to talk about issues. We also make it easier for the other person to understand us and sometimes understand ourselves too, because not everybody has the right words to express how they feel. So, poetry has a great way of making you aware of feelings and things and experiences that you yourself can't always express. So thank you so much for that. That was wonderful. Um,
Thank you.
Anybody else has anything to ask Pratibha before we close the session? Right, I'm going to end the session. Pratibha, you have any last words for our audience today?
Um, I would love to share one more poem with you, and it is about competition. We all wanted to be winner. We are all teaching our kids to be winner, but it's not possible. How everyone can be a winner? So I have written a poem here. I would love to share. Here I want to give a different message that winning alone is, let's change the rules this time. Let's play the game differently now. So the title of the poem is, it is in Hindi again, एक उड़ान ऐसी भी. So I would love to begin with few lines that is written by someone else. I don't know who is that, but I love sharing this line with you. किसी ने क्या खूब कहा है कि अगर मैं कहूँ कि किसी को मेरी ज़रूरत नहीं तो ये मेरा वहम है, और अगर मैं यूँ कहूँ कि मुझे किसी की ज़रूरत नहीं तो ये मेरा अहम है. तो इस कविता के ज़रिए मैं कुछ नए नियम बनाने की रिक्वेस्ट कर रही हूँ, एक मैसेज देना चाहती हूँ. इफ़ इट इज़ पॉसिबल, चलो एक ऐसी उड़ान लगाएं. चलो एक ऐसी उड़ान लगाएं, पतंगों के संग सब उड़ जाएं. चलो एक ऐसी उड़ान लगाएं, पतंगों के संग सब उड़ जाएं. लाल हरी हो या नीली पीली, डोर है किसकी कितनी नुकीली, इस बात से जरा ध्यान हटाएं. चलो एक ऐसी पतंग उड़ाएं, चलो एक ऐसी उड़ान लगाएं. गौर यहाँ ये करना होगा, नियम जरा बदलना होगा। कटे किसी की पतंग न कभी, नया नया ये नियम बनाएं, चलो एक ऐसी पतंग उड़ाएं। मौसम ये उमंगों का है, नीली लाल पतंगों का है। हवा में राज अब रंगों का है, नभ में नया इंद्रधनुष बनाएं, चलो एक ऐसी उड़ान लगाएं। चारों ओर हो उड़ी पतंगें, कुछ तेरी कुछ मेरी पतंगें। चारों ओर हो उड़ी पतंगें, कुछ तेरी कुछ मेरी पतंगें। कुछ छोटी कुछ बड़ी पतंगें, पतंगे नहीं है ये हैं उमंगे। उमंगों संग नए कदम बढ़ाएं, चलो एक ऐसी पतंग उड़ाएं, चलो एक ऐसी उड़ान लगाएं। So this is my another poem.
Thank you
I
so
wanted
much.
to thank you.
Thank you so much
Beautiful, beautiful.
and your beautiful poetry. I'm sure it's touched everybody and everyone has felt your words in their heart. And for the journey you have shared, it's a remarkable journey. And I hope a lot of people have taken note of that. And also the fact that no matter what you're going through in life, you have options. You can look within, find something that you have a gift for. Every change leads to an opportunity. So find that within you. And look, you might be here presenting on IIW your wonderful poetry or some other talent. And I'd like to just thank everyone for being here. And on this wonderful poetry that Pratibha has shared, I want to just add a few lines from a poet a poet and writer called Emily Dixon on hope, because I want to leave everybody with hope that when you have hope, you can do anything. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. So may your soul continue to sing, even though you may not have the words, and may you find that rest within yourself. So thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. And thank you, Rashmi, for making this possible. And have a lovely evening of what's left of it. Thank you,
Very quick
Pratibha.
word for what is tomorrow. Tomorrow we have all about Vastu Shastra, all about where your things should be placed in your house, and about astrology. So we have Mr. Gyan Sharma, the famous, very knowledgeable, very accredited. He's done a lot of research and has some degrees on astrology. So he's going to be there in conversation with Darshini Joshi tomorrow. So be there, part of Heart to Heart. And I apologize for one thing that we could not go live on Facebook, but I will upload the recording on YouTube right away. Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye,
Thank
everyone. Bye.
Thank
Thank,
you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Pratibha, you are superb.
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you,
Bye,
Purva.
Purva. Thanks for keeping awake. Bye, Manjulika.
Thank you, Didi. Bye. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Sangeeta, you were fantastic. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye, Sangeeta ji. Thank
Bye,
you so
Pratibha.
much.
Thank you so
Made it
much.
so easy.
It's lovely to hear all your poetry. Thank you. It's such a lovely
Thank you.
way that you shared them. Thank you.
Thanks, Pratibha. Bye.